Returns on 1310 News and Rogers TV.
One of the themes for us in the first hour of the program is what happens to a member of the military when their military career is over, and how can that transition into civilian life be made easier. Jeff Musson is here, and he is the CEO of Coding for Veterans. Good morning, Mr. Musson.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you today, sir?
Great.
Good. It's a different kind of Remembrance Day, isn't it?
Absolutely. This has been quite a year, and it's a different day.
Different day. Yeah. Coding for Veterans. What is it?
Yeah, so Coding for Veterans helps those military veterans who once they leave the military, want to transition to careers in Canada's tech sector. Okay. And we partner in with the University of Ottawa that delivers the courses 100% online with professors.
Okay. So let's talk more broadly about some of the challenges presented for a member of the military, and their military career has, for one reason or another, come to an end. It's time to transition, become a civilian, right? Yeah. What are some of the challenges there? Just say, culturally speaking.
Yeah, so what was interesting, when we launched this program, we set up focus groups with military veterans, and we said, tell us everything about your release, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And what was interesting was, it was an eye opener. Okay. And for military veterans, what we've done with the Coding for Veterans program is we've actually focused on their soft skills, things like leadership, attention to detail, teamwork. And we said, traditionally, those that left the military would go into police services or border security or those related. But we said, if you actually look at the best developers, software programmers in the tech industry, they have those same soft skill sets that those from our military have.
Yeah, I want to get a little bit more into that. What kind of soft skills are you talking about?
So things like teamwork, can-do attitude, up for a challenge. Those are things that you cannot teach. But for those that serve in our military, it's part of their DNA. And so, the premise of the program was, can we identify those 7,000 military veterans that leave the forces every year and find 7,000 and find those that actually want a career in tech. And the reason, why tech is such a hot area is currently it's projected that we're going to have about 182,000 IT jobs that are going to go unfilled in the next 24 months. And so military veterans will be able to have solid careers, stable employment, well-paying jobs. And the best thing about our program is Veterans Affairs pays 100% of the tuition for those veterans through their educational transition benefit. Okay. So it doesn't cost the veterans anything.
So when they take this 8-month course and they go to the University of Ottawa, right?
Yep. Online.
It's online, right. Yep. But it's free.
Yes, for those, because the tuition is paid through Veterans Affairs.
Yeah, through Veterans Affairs, right.
Yeah.
Is it a career in technology? What's your experience? Is it a career that they consider? You mentioned, law enforcement, border security, those kinds of things would be, I guess, more top of mind because maybe they're more regimented, more suitable to the lifestyle of somebody who's been in an environment that's militaristic, I guess.
Yeah, and security-minded.
Security-minded. Yeah, okay, that's a better way to put it. Yeah.
What's great about our program is, again, when we had those focus groups, there's actually two streams to our program. We have coding which military veterans learn, but we also have an advanced stream in the area of cybersecurity. And what's great is that we have some veterans that start off in our software program and complete it, and then go and specialize in cybersecurity, and then we have others in the military, there's about 45 occupations that are heavy into IT, and they just jump right into the cybersecurity program. And the great thing about it is our military veterans already have security clearances. Being in the cybersecurity industry, you're still helping to defend our country, but you're doing it in cyberspace, right? And
Right.
so it plays into that that as well.
Well, when I think about, the defense sector, and it's a big employer here in the National Capital Region, the defense sector.
Yeah.
It's high tech. I mean, it is the tech sector, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the heart and soul of it, right? What kind of jobs can people get out of this? What kind of jobs are available?
Yeah, so those that go through our cybersecurity program, when they graduate, they not only graduate with accreditation from the University of Ottawa, but they also write the industry accreditation exam, the CISSP, which in essence is like the good housekeeping seal of approval. Lawyers write the bar exam, accountants write the UFEs, and cybersecurity. And so before anyone graduates, they write that exam. And what that allows individuals from our program to do is to get employed in some of Canada's big banks in their security operations center. We have, like you mentioned, defense contractors hire from our program. These are good paying, great jobs. And then those that, want to, just focus on software development, when they graduate from that and not want to continue on into cyber, jobs that they get, they'll be Python developers, Java developers. So like intermediate jobs, and these salaries are approaching six figures, which provides stability and for their families.
Right. Yes. Yes. What are some of the other challenges in the transition, say from military life to civilian life, outside of skill sets, but just headspace, more or less? Yeah.
Well, it was interesting. We introduced what's called an organizational behavior course in the program because it became very apparent early on that, and when you look at it, it makes sense. But when you're, in the thrust of it, it's sort of an aha moment. There is significant cultural differences between the military and the tech sector.
Right.
And as I tell people, in the tech sector, disruption and thinking outside of the box is encouraged. I said, you do that in the military, you're going to get kicked out, right?
Right.
And so what this organizational behavior course does is it helps the veterans' mindset to transition to a different way of thinking, right? To challenge the norms and the concepts where they weren't allowed to do that specifically in the military.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking, Facebook's motto is move fast and break things, whereas exactly. I would imagine in the armed forces, it's probably don't move until we tell you to move, right?
Exactly.
And when we tell you to move, you better move, right?
Yeah, so, we say jump, you say how high, right? I mean,
yeah. And not to stereotype, but, uniform, conformity, consistency, it's not nose rings and green hair and all-night hackathons, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's great about the program is veterans have been successful in this transition, and they love the idea that, just like when you're learning a software language, no different than you're learning a different language to speak, it's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
And our military veterans and those that have served never shy away from challenges. So, this is why it's a great fit. And from our organization, especially on days like, Remembrance Day and throughout the rest of the year, it's, what better way can we honor the service that they've given to our country than by providing them stable employment when they're finished, when they release from the military?
Well, yeah, because it must be such an empty feeling. Okay, I did that. That was my whole life. What am I going to do now? Right?
Yep.
Career transition. It's a huge thing.
It's scary.
It's very scary. Yeah. So it's 8 months. It's 8 months, and then at the end of the 8 months, what's your success rate? Like, do Do you do internships? How does that work?
Yeah, so what we did was we've actually taken the traditional education model and kind of turned it a little bit on its head. So prior to anyone coming in the program, we actually do a 45-minute online skills assessment that looks at their soft skills. So things like cognitive ability, personality, motivation. And we want to make sure that there's actually a good fit for someone in the program for a career in the tech sector. And so, we always say careers. We're not providing jobs. We're going one step above that. And by doing that, we are able to really identify those that are, on the balance of probabilities will have success, because, the last thing we want is someone coming in the program, taking the courses, get to graduation, and then say, you know what, this isn't for me.
It's not for me. Yeah.
And so that's been able to have our success rate like above 90%. And then the placements that we've had have followed along as well. So we put a significant emphasis prior to enrollment, right, to make sure that we have a good fit.
Good. You had a recruitment caravan yesterday here in Ottawa.
Yes.
How did it go?
It was extremely successful.
Good.
And what happened was, prior to COVID, we had worked with Veterans Affairs, and we attended, I want to say, over 30 job fairs the past year, telling military veterans and educating them on our program. And obviously with COVID, that was shut down. So what our Coding for Veterans team decided to do was, what if we did a cross-Ontario caravan where we brought the message into the various communities? And so we set up outdoors, 6 feet apart, and we're able to really engage and educate those that wanted to come out for some information about this program. And it was really successful.
Great. I'm so pleased to hear this. I thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you such ongoing success with the endeavor, sir. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, that's Jeff Musson. He is the CEO of Coding for Veterans. 944.